today's Lunch and Learn session. It's actually the second of two in March. The first one we were looking at new features, functionalities in Wave 1 for CE. And today I'm joined by my colleague Chris Tilley, who's going to introduce you to some of the new features and functions which will be available in Wave 1 for unified operations. So I know that there's quite a bit to get through today, so without hanging around too long, I shall now hand over to Chris. Thanks very much, Chris.
No problem. Good afternoon, all. Most of you probably know me if you've attended these before. My name is Chris Tilley. I'm an enterprise architect here at HSO. I will be going through just a few of the features that jumped out at me. This is quite a short session. It's relatively informal, so it's intended to just give you a feel, point out some features that are pretty good, pretty interesting, will improve your business, and reach out to us if you want to dig in further, get hold of the documentation. But as far as documentation goes, I will launch in. I'll just turn my camera off so you can focus on the content. So to get more information, this refers to 2022, but there are sites you can go to. The release plans are available from Microsoft now. And I think next week, the Vice President of the Business Applications Unit in Microsoft is kicking off and hosting a keynote with some of his leaders in the field to run through the Microsoft version of their release. So that's worth tuning into as well. If you have a look at LinkedIn, you can grab Debbie for the link and we'll circulate those afterwards. But just to race in, supply chain management first. So the key areas of focus for supply chain management are really no mega new features. They're not releasing whole new modules at the minute, but it's to really improve, as you can see, the agility and efficiency. So simplifying daily tasks, such as if you use inventory visibility, asset management, getting more actionable insights where they're needed within the app, real time where possible, near real time. WMS users, warehouse management users enjoying incremental usability and productivity in the app. For example, they're adding support for iOS devices in the WMS app. I would be interested, actually, if anyone on the call will be looking at using iOS devices in their warehouse. Just put a comment if you are. It's not something that I've come across, but it is something you can now do should you wish to. End-to-end integration for improved accuracy and efficiency. So the omni-channel sales strategies are getting a boost with better ways of managing attribute-based pricing, integrated soft reservations, improved order promising capabilities with extended ATP horizons, etc. The discrete manufacturers are getting a look in, planning optimizations being extended to cover a lot of manufacturing scenarios, and a lot of quality of life improvements in WMS. So a few key things I thought I'd pull out. So within landed cost and logistics, for those who are not aware of it, landed cost is a whole module which enables you to map and manage your inbound stock. So say you're buying from the Far East or similar, you can model your voyages, you can have those, the costs attached, you can have ASNs from freight forwarders coming in to update those and all your shipping lines, etc. on these voyages. One thing, you can now create shipping containers in batch. That doesn't sound like a big thing, but what it does, it allows you to do a very large, heavy process, adding potentially thousands of purchase order lines to your shipping containers, modeled shipping containers, without interrupting your user. User clicks go, off it goes and does it. So you also need to have a detailed understanding of costs associated with the transportations of products, but this can be quite difficult to obtain when considering multiple voyages. Multiple costs using different cost type codes that are combined into one invoice delivered by the shipping vendor. And the new feature, the split cost types in vendor invoice feature, makes it possible to allocate costs more granularly by breaking down the costs from each voyage according to the cost type code. So what that actually means is the invoice journal can include lines where each line represents a specific cost type code. That's quite a tricky thing to get your head around, but if you're using it, that will make sense. So basically, the system merges costs from all voyages that have the same cost type code into the same line in the vendor invoice journal previously, but now these journals will be split based on the cost type code. Makes it a lot easier to see where your cost is going. I will talk a bit about the assigned shipments to route segments in a second, because I think that's quite cool. I will show you that. So the inventory visibility add-in dashboards, for those who aren't using inventory visibility, I'll show you that briefly in a bit as well. It it's adding a dashboard so business unit users such as supply chain planners, inventory managers, sales clerks can view things like the inventory quantity, the status across data sources, different legal entities, locations and channels with a quick and holistic overview. So you can do things like set up and filter on inventory dimensions, maybe focus on the regions and products you care most about, identify the stock out, understock and overstock products so you can get your replenishment on time. Or even reduce the stock there if you're overstocked. So you can compare your allocated and consumed qualities to decide whether an allocation top-up is needed. Maybe you're putting a promotion in, a campaign, something like that. And also view things like inventory KPIs. So this is all being added to this near real-time user dashboard. They've really completely rebuilt the app which supports inventory visibility. I'll talk in a second about inventory visibility, kind of the architecture, so you can see what I'm talking about. Was there a question there? I shall carry on. Didn't know if you couldn't hear me or something. Yeah, so the rebuilt Power App offers a completely new configuration experience, new UI, better features for querying on hand, soft reservations, allocations, etc. So that's a really better way to leverage this. So I'll show you a bit of that in a second. And also extended the ATP calculation horizon out to 3 months, which is huge. It used to be a week. So it significantly increases the visibility into your future inventory statuses, your order promising capacity, lets you check inventory for a specific day or the next available date for products, for example, especially useful to support sales inquiries and calculate shipment dates. So you'll be able to project your inventory availability much longer into the future, identifying supply risks sooner, and basically it's the foundation for optimizing your order fulfillment. The longer the time frames, you can match further out 3 months. You can see if there's urgent shipments required for an inbound purchase order, that kind of thing. Planning optimization can now, well, manufacturers can now switch to using planning optimization instead of master planning. For those who haven't seen this, planning optimization is a separate microservice which offloads all of the planning MRP calculations to a separate service, much higher performance, allows you to run most jobs within minutes rather than hours. You can run them multiple times a day, but until this point, most manufacturers had to use the older master planning. So manufacturers can now, oops, just skipped ahead by mistake, apologies. Get my notes back. Yeah, so you'll be able to run that master planning multiple times a day, planning simulations for what if scenarios, etc. Just to be aware of, there's actually a fit analysis page. We can circulate that if anyone's interested to, but basically it says which features you're requiring from planning optimization, and it tells you if you're supported now or in the future. So if you are looking at going from master planning to the microservice planning optimization, just give us a shout and we can give you that link. A big one which has been looked for a while is archiving. So the performance and general usage, if you've got loads of inventory transactions, sales order lines, they can effectively clog up your database. They cost you money because the larger your database, the more Microsoft are going to charge over a certain amount. So it allows you to basically archive all these inventory transactions to a Dataverse managed data lake. It will remain available for historical reporting, auditing, machine learning, if that's useful to you, legal claims, all that kind of thing, but it won't be stuck in, right in your ERP. It'll be in a data lake, in a data platform where it should be. Something that's just come in, so there's attribute-based omni-channel sales pricing. So what does that mean? Effectively, B2B businesses are increasingly considering moving to an omni-channel sales strategy, sell directly to customers, gain more control over pricing and margins. But it can be very complicated because there's complex pricing models, pricing rules you have to model. A lot of times this is done off system on Excel and somebody has to trawl through to find the right price, which leads to errors, time consumption. People can't see what their prices are. But what this now allows you to do, it builds on the commerce architecture basically to give you one place to manage all of your sales and pricing. It leverages what's called the commerce scale unit, which is part of the commerce architecture to give you kind of hyper scalable piece of architecture which allows you to connect all your sales channel, both commerce default, Dynamics Commerce Default, and third party. And it gives you real-time price calculations. So it allows you to simulate prices. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this picture too well, but it gives you an idea of the architecture basically. So whether it's an internal Dynamics 365 application, such as the point of sale or the storefront, or a third party, perhaps your third party website, or even the sales. If you're using Dynamics 365 sales, you'll be able to use all these attribute-based planning you can see on the right-hand side here to really get your pricing much more complicated, but easier to use as well. There's even an API for those who are more technically minded, an API, so you can use native commerce or third-party retrieval of pricing really quick, allows you to get that price with a complicated pricing structure really well surfaced. Just a quick note, I think I mentioned this earlier, create shipping containers in batch. Sounds like a small thing, but that's really great for quality of life for those planners, the people managing the inbound voyages. This can take a long time, and now one click, they get the use of their UI back on they go. I wanted to just explain slightly what I meant earlier by this assigning shipments to related route segments. Hopefully this image makes it a bit clearer. You've got one route which is making a number of drops. You can correctly apportion your freight charges for multi-segment scheduled routes with inbound and outbound logistic processes. So when you've got your freight costs apportioned correctly, you can evaluate the true profitability of a sales order, because you can apportion this cost at the item line level. So for example, segment 1, shipments A, B, and C consume part of that, but segment 3 was only for shipment C. So you can apportion your freight costs for multi-segment routes with inbound and outbound, but get the true cost. This is something, again, lots of people did on Excel and will continue to do on Excel, but it's worth knowing that transport management now can help you with this and help you get more granular and more realistic on your planning and what the cost actually was. I mentioned inventory visibility a couple of times earlier. So for those that are not aware, I think it's about 3 years old now, but it's a microservice provided by Microsoft, which tightly integrates with Dynamics, but it doesn't need Dynamics. You can update it from multiple channels, and it gives you a picture of your on-hand stock across all of your locations and legal entities. And as you heard earlier, it has an ATP calculation as well, which is going from 1 week out to 3 months. So independent, highly scalable microservice enables real-time on-hand inventory changes. So you can also post to it. So as you can see in this example, the inventory visibility becomes your master for when I want to know what stock I have in the business, the inventory visibility add-in can become that. So wherever you need to see that, be it a third-party website, internal website, supply chain management. In this scenario here, you can see that the e-commerce has got a sales order with quantity of 10. We have 100 available. There's a requirement for 10 to come in, so you can soft reserve 10 rather than wait till that sales order has gone through the full process and been shipped, picking lists and posted and all that, and to decrement your on-hand stock. This soft reservation is instant, so immediately you can see that soft reservation of 10 decrementing the available stock. So we've not sold it, it's not definitely gone, but there is a soft reservation of 10, meaning there's only 90 available for reservation. And when this single point of truth for your stock and your on-hand stock becomes IV, you really reduce the risk of overselling, which is a real problem when you've got a true omni-channel situation. Multiple third-party websites, you've got your B2C and your B2B websites, you've also got point of sale internally, and you've got call center staff placing orders against the same inventory. What this does is allows you to really make sure you don't oversell. When you actually process that sales order, it will offset against the reservation, so it will release that reservation. Inventory visibility's got a lot more functionality than just that. You can do things like allocating stock to particular channels, hard and soft reservations. If you're not using IV already, things sounds like something that could be useful for you, definitely get in touch. We can help you with that. Really good piece of kit. A few points on finance. So finance again is getting some archiving. It's been a request for a long time, and Microsoft have built one kind of pattern, I guess. One feature, so you can do this across multiple areas. To start with, they've done so basically, save storage space, gain performance, and there's a reduced data set to work against. You don't want loads and loads of historical data to trawl through. So as existing automation available allows you to move data consistently, safely, and securely to your data archive. But you can continue to report and analyze that data using your standard reporting, which is a real boon. You don't want to lose access to that and have to drag it back from archive. So as you can see, apologies if these are slightly grainy pictures, but you can grab sort your schedule out, what's going to go, when's it going to go to archive. Choose the years, you know, what years am I archiving? Do I want just the previous year, all previous years? Legal entities. Some of you will be working one legal entity. Some of you will have, you know, multiple, even dozens of legal entities to deal with. You can do them all at once if you need to. Do you want to move all that to the history table? And then review and execute that archiving. And then you will have your archive. You'll see what's in your history tables. It keeps this version keeps them still accessible from the ERP, but it does compress them, so it saves space and performance. And then it allows the ERP to still access them for historical reporting if necessary. So that's a really great addition. Financial tags. This feature gives you the flexibility to add basically text fields, user-definable text field on accounting entries. So for this release, Microsoft have focused on financial journals used most. Customer payment journal, vendor payment journals, but that's going to be followed with a lot more. They're going to expand more across the lesser used, you know, vendor invoice journals, allocation journals, that kind of thing, fixed assets even. So what does it do for you? It allows you to define up to 20 tags. They're stored against the accounting entries in the GL, as you can see. They're kind of unstructured. They're not something like you'll be familiar with the dimension structure, the chart of account structure in Dynamics. They're not that restricted. So there's a bit of defaulting, but they're not required, they're not validated. Think of them as additional text fields that are also, as you can see, not part of the posted ledger account. So they can be changed after posting. These are really for adding context and adding information to your general ledger. As you can see there, so first it's the global and general journals, and they're expanding to more in future. So briefly, what does that look like? You can see a journal voucher I've extracted here, and in the middle there's a financial tag. This happens to relate to sales orders and purchase orders and things, but you can add kind of whatever is of use to you. You know, it could be a note, it could be something that's automatically populated based on another part of the system, but really this was not there before. Really handy little feature to add context to your general ledger journals and other transactions. Just doing a little time check here. 20 past 30. What else? Lots of bits in finance. I'd encourage you to go and look at the links that we'll share around. So the credit card repayment refactoring allows you to do things like the status, customer invoice creation and posting, the credit card capture and refund, payment journal posting, you know, the remaining amount authorization. This is all in one refactory now, so you can go and have a look there. It's one place to process all this kind of stuff. And the reporting hub based reports on data and the security as well. So with the power of the data model now, you need a lot more report and data governance, as well as row and role level security if required, which is stored in the reporting hub. I've got a little screenshot in a second. So it's a central repository of pre-configured reports that are organized by business process. So it allows more users to create reports previously, and it allows you to set that reporting up at the role level. Users can share reports with team members where the data is refreshed automatically, fields for additional reporting capabilities, and users can be set up to review reports by dimension and by legal entity. So you can create refreshable pre-written reports that are distributed beyond finance. You might want to send a sales report to sales staff in the field that refreshes with their most current sales number, but is restricted to maybe a specific product, specific location. So, so you can see that too well. So you can see all your reports in the reporting hub, and you can configure, there's a configuration home, so you can review everything you need to about who's got access, set up the roles to access, select the dimensions by which you want to constrain your reports, set up all the users can access this page. So a really useful addition to the reporting suite. The free text invoices, some industries, particularly in the financial services industry, use these a lot. So huge amounts of free text invoices. Previously, the processing was synchronous, but now one of the first processes to go asynchronous, meaning the user doesn't have to be there and interact with it, will be the free text invoices. So you can efficiently process billing system invoices into finance. Lots more work's going on to improve things like accounts payable, product receipts, and vendor invoices, but this is the first one, so that should improve life considerably. If you're not already aware of Microsoft's invoice automation, the OCR, I strongly suggest you or encourage you to go and have a look. If you're already using an off-the-shelf invoice OCR processing tool, this may not be what you're after. If you're not using anything, this can really get you going. So I think I've got a quick slide from a previous presentation just to show you what that is. But this feature allows you to basically process your vendor invoices during the import of an OCR invoice. Those steps typically were created manually. So applying prepayments, completing the matching process, validating invoices, adding to workflow. This can all be done automatically now where appropriate. So the three-way matching, all that kind of stuff is completed in the background. Basically when it's imported. So it eliminates the need for additional background processing and frees, AP staff to focus their efforts on the exceptions rather than, manually cranking through all of the things that need to be imported. Lots of enhancements to the subscription billing solution. For those that are not aware of that, that is exactly what it sounds like. Set out subscription billing features, billing over time, apportioned and accrued over a certain period of time and into different periods. More advanced cost and revenue deferrals available. So you can also include your project accounting and subledgers there. Globalization Studio. Oh, there's a bit cut off the bottom, but there's 51 out of the box countries for globalization now if you're a multi-territory organization. And there's a lot of improvements for the advanced tax as well. So automation on tax. So if you're in the scenario where you need to deal with financials across many countries, you've got 51 out of the box now. Come and talk to us about the Globalization Studio. We can certainly get you going on that to hopefully improve your tax processing. For those that weren't aware what the document OCR is, very quickly, suppliers, documents coming in, maybe a mailbox in Outlook, store those documents automatically, process them automatically with AI models. So you can say what's in that, you don't have to go and look and type out all the fields yourself. It just appears, create the documents and the transactions in Dynamics 365 Finance, review those processed documents. So yeah, scanned invoice into the database. So yeah, brilliant. If you've not got any OCR at all at the minute, this will really get you up and running quicker. Speed it up slightly. So the final thing, commerce. There's just one I wanted to point out with commerce, a couple of bits. So this is the commerce architecture for those who've not seen it. It's one unified architecture giving you everything from your sales, marketing, customer services integrated at the bottom. You're managing your stock, your products, your pricing, up through a highly scalable scale unit in the middle there to give you your sales channels. So all of your sales channels can connect in the same way, a point of sale, e-commerce storefront, whether it's Microsoft's Dynamics storefront, which is commerce, or a third party, such as Magento or something like that. What has been added now is an enhancement to the B2B platform. So there's already B2B capabilities where you can stand up a B2B website, a fully transactional website with all the B2B features you'd want. But there's now also, it's common for consumer packaged goods companies and big manufacturers to sell to retail outlets by using distributors. So what this will do is allow your distributors and buyers from retail outlets ordering to come onto a B2B platform and a dashboard. So you can see the distributors will order direct from the host, being yourselves. The retail outlets select a distributor to order from, and this entire infrastructure is hosted on Commerce out of the box with configuration. The distributors can log on to the dashboard to view and fulfill their orders from their own ERP system. So what orders are assigned to me as a distributor? what is the availability of my products as a distributor. So I can go on, I can say my items are out of stock, I've got low availability, I've got a purchase order in, I've got huge availability, and I can accept and reject orders on that as well as a distributor, and integrate those orders directly into my own ERP system as they come into, if I'm the host here. I can integrate directly out to an ERP system, so the orders placed appear in their ERP as well. This feature is quite new. I would like to have done a demo on this. As soon as I get hold of this, I will be putting a demo together, and we'll contact Debbie and Steve to try and show you this real, because it's a bit of a abstract concept to get hold of with just text. But as soon as it's out, I will get a demo up and running and show everybody. So I had to race through a little bit of that, but hopefully those features were really useful. Contact us if anything whet your appetite there. If you want to hear more about anything, see a demo of any of these features that are coming. They're starting to drop from next month onwards, so the previews for a lot of them appear in April, and they'll be rolling through, I think, to July, August is when they all start to go generally available. Next up, on the 20th of April, we have Take Control of Your Documents with LaserNet. Steve, did you want to say anything about this this 20th of April session?
Very briefly. So thank you, Chris, and thank you for everybody for joining today. The next session is LaserNet. LaserNet is a popular ISV solution amongst our customers to enable them to take more control and ownership of their own document management systems. Less reliance on technical and development work from people such as ourselves. So look forward to welcoming you on the 20th of April. Thank you very much.